माधवा कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यमुनातीरवनचारी
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 राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 12th chapter, the birth of Emperor Parikshit, text number 18. श्रीराजोवाच अपि एष वंशयान् राजर्षीन् अप्येष वंशयान् राजर्षीन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः अनुवर्तिता स्वेद यशसा अनुवर्तिता स्वेद यशसा साधु वादेन सत्तमाः साधुवादेन सत्तमाः। श्रीराजोवाच अप्येष वंशयान् राजर्षीन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः अनुवर्तिता स्वेद्यशसा साधुवादेन सत्तमाः। श्रीराजोवाच अप्येष वंश राजर्षीन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः सत्तमाः। श्रीराजोवाच अप्येष वंशयान् राजर्षीन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः तिता स्वेद्यशसा दुवादेन सत्तमाः। श्रीराजोवाच अप्येष वंशयान् राजर्षीन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः तिता शसा साधुवादेन सत्तमाः Shri Raja, the all-good king, Maharaj Yudhishthir, Uvacha said, Api whether Eshaha this Vanshayan family Raja Rishin of saintly kings Punya Shlokan pious by the very name Maha Atmanaha all great souls Anuvartita follower Swet it will be Yashasa by achievements Sadhuvadena by glorification Sattamaha great souls Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. The good King Yudhishthir inquired, O great souls, will he become as saintly a king, as pious in his very name, and as famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family? Please repeat. The good king Yudhishthir inquired, O great souls, will he become as saintly a king, as pious in his very name, and as famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family? Purport. The forefathers of King Yudhishthir were all great saintly kings, pious and glorified by their great achievements. They were all saints on the royal throne, and therefore all the members of the state were happy, pious, well behaved, prosperous, and spiritually enlightened. Under strict guidance of the great souls and spiritual injunctions, such great saintly kings were trained up, and as a result, the kingdom was full of saintly persons and was a happy land of spiritual life. Maharaj Yudhishthir was himself a prototype of his ancestors, and he desired that the next king after him become exactly like his great forefathers. He was happy to learn from the learned Brahmanas that by astrological calculations, the child would be born a first great devotee of the Lord, and more confidentially he wanted to know whether the child was going to follow in the footsteps of his great forefathers. That is the way of the monarchical state. The reigning king should be a pious, chivalrous devotee of the Lord and fear personified for the upstarts. He must also leave an heir apparent, equally qualified to rule over the innocent citizens. In the modern setup of the democratic states, the people themselves are fallen to the qualities of the Shudras or less, and the government is run by their representative, who is ignorant of the scriptural mode of administrative education. Thus, the whole atmosphere is surcharged with Shudra qualities manifested by lust and avarice. Such administrators quarrel every day among themselves. The cabinet of ministers changes, often due to party and group selfishness. Everyone wants to exploit the state resources till he dies. No one retires from political life unless forced to do so. How can such low-grade men do good to the people? The result is corruption, intrigue, and hypocrisy. They should learn from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam how ideal the administrators must be before they can be given charge of different posts. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So a very important word which is used here is Raj Rishi. Sri Rajovacha, Maharaj Yudhishthir is very inquisitive about Maharaj Parikshit, who was his grandson, and he was about to be installed on the throne of the whole world as the emperor. Why Maharaj Parikshit is going to be installed? Maharaj Yudhishthir himself could have ruled. He was most capable king. Did people desire that Yudhishthir should go? He should leave his kingdom? No. Maharaj Yudhishthir was perfect devotee, a pure devotee, and thus everyone was completely satisfied. It is told in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that in his rule it was as good as Ram Rajya, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself was ruling. So there were no difficulties in the entire state. There were no diseases, no anxieties for human beings or animals, anybody. The climate was very favorable. There were no extreme temperatures. Everything was very, very conducive and very convenient. So we are very expert. Anything wrong happens, immediately the living entities who are foolish, they blame God. That's why God has created so many difficulties. If there is any suffering, any trouble in life, immediately they start blaming God. Unfortunately, they don't understand that it is my mistake, I have not been following the laws nicely. If people violate the laws, then they would suffer. And why people violate the laws? For two reasons. One, they do not know the laws. Second, they are not trained to follow the laws nicely. Unfortunately, in today's circumstances, people are not aware of the laws and they are not trained to follow laws. So thus there is increased suffering. That is the responsibility of the king, to understand the laws perfectly, and the laws are not created by some people sitting in the assembly house. God already has given laws for this world. A king should be trained up to understand those laws and simply enact those laws in the kingdom. Just like the laws are given by the state, and every family is supposed to follow the law. Family cannot have their own law. Government has put 50% tax, 40% tax, we will give 10% tax. No, entire family will be put into jail. So family means one should simply implement the laws which are given by the state. Every citizen has to follow. Similarly, every kingdom has to follow the laws given by the Supreme Lord. Because Yudhishthir Maharaj was following all these laws very nicely, whole kingdom was peaceful. Thus, if there is any disturbance in the kingdom, even to the extent as it is discussed in Bhagavatam, that the son dies before father, for this also king is responsible. God has designed this place so nicely that there should be no anxiety at all. One who has come first into this world, he should leave first. Father has come first, father should leave first. Only when there is anomaly, the king is not proper, then the son may leave before father. And thus this anomaly was reported. And the kings were very much concerned why it is happening, that the son is dying before father. Similar thing was reported to Arjuna. And Arjuna was just imagine, can somebody blame that my son has died and he is blaming president or prime minister? It is your fault. My son has died before me. It appears ridiculous. Can somebody tell there is extreme temperature in our state or in our country? It is because of you. You are ruling improperly, but that is a fact. So if the king is proper, the ruler is proper, there would be no difficulty, no extreme temperatures, no diseases, no anxieties even. Because people do not understand the root cause of the problem. What is the root cause of the problem? The root cause of the problem is that I am violating the laws of nature, as simple as that. All the suffering is only because we violate the laws. Rest are details. If I violate the law, nature will invent some ways to punish us. There may be flood, there may be earthquake, there may be war, there may be accident, there could be epidemic, there could be XYZ, anything. Ultimately, these are instruments. And nobody knows this. Nobody in the world knows this. Just imagine the situation of a thief who does not understand why am I in jail and is trying his level best to escape the jail, to escape the punishment of the jail, without knowing why he is arrested and without knowing what is the legal way of getting out of jail. The legal way of getting out of jail is behave very nicely. Your sentence could be minimized and write an application to the president or the king. If the king decides, the president decides, he can give you relief from your punishment. Otherwise, you simply have to tolerate. You cannot do anything else. Once you have violated the laws of nature, punishment will be given. And nobody in the world knows this. That is why Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that one should know what is karma. One should know what is vikarma and one should know what is akarma. Gahana karmano gatihi. Bodhavyam api karmani. One should know what is karma, what is right course of action, what is wrong course of action, and what is spiritual course of action. And it is very, very complex to understand karma, to understand the laws. Before we do anything in any place, we understand the laws. You have to purchase a house, you have to purchase a property, sell a property. You have to travel, you have to enter any place. Before entering, there are so many laws. You have to have your passport, you have to have visa, you have to have so many approvals. And we are there in this material world without knowing any of these laws. Thus, there is so much trouble and suffering in the life. And because nobody is aware because the leader himself is not aware, that is why the miseries are simply increasing. And because the kings like Yudhishthir Maharaj, they were very, very intelligent, they were knowing the laws, that is why people were peaceful. And now also we can understand, so those of us who are following spiritual life, we are following the leadership of great pure devotees, our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, and thus we can see how in our life anxieties, they reduce drastically. The more we follow, the more the anxieties get reduced. By this I can understand that we are on the path of truth. I know the laws of the nature. If I follow laws of nature, my sufferings will reduce. So that is why it is very, very important that the king should be very, very learned. The king or the administrator, as he is appointed by Prabhupada mentions, the democratic setup. In the modern setup of democratic states, the people themselves are fallen to the qualities of Shudras or less. People are degraded. People are completely loose. They have no knowledge, and such people who are ignorant, they are given chance. Suppose in a court, government tells, okay, no judge. We will find out who is criminal democratically. What would be the result? So if democracy is so good, apply democracy in your courts. Let everyone in the courtroom decide who is right, who is wrong. Why judge is given responsibility? Why it is so difficult to become a judge? So much qualification is required. Why not democracy? Why not democracy in administration? Why not democracy in army? Let the whole army decide what we will do. General will not decide. No, so this is foolishness. So that is why democracy means most of the people are always fools. Wise people are always less in society. Democracy, everyone is having equal right. In a family, we will choose democratically. Children should go to school or not. Children will outnumber their parents. Okay, we will not go to school. Voted in favor of eating mud, eating chocolates, not going to school. Everything will collapse. No democracy. Those who are wise, there could be one wise man, he will choose where the 10 children should go and follow. So that's very easily we can understand how greatly flawed this system is. So because people are fools, the fools are choosing the representative who is fool number 1. So fools are choosing fools, and in this way the whole society is full of cheaters and cheated. Nobody knows what is the proper conduct, the laws which are given by Supreme Lord, and thus there is only increased suffering in the world. There were agitations happening a century ago, and even today agitations are happening and people are dissatisfied. So Shudra elects another Shudra as the leader, and what is the result? No one retires from political life unless forced to do so. So here Yudhishthir Maharaj, he is retiring. Otherwise modern politicians, leaders, they do not retire. They want to hold on to the post as long as possible. 40 years, 50 years, 80 years, they are holding on to the post. They are unaware of the real value of life. Real value of life is self-realization. And it is told the miseries of the life will continue as long as a person does not inquire about self-realization. Parabhavas tavat abodha jato yavan na jigyasata atma tattvam. Parabhav means defeat. This life is war against the illusory energy of Maya. And everyone is getting defeated here. Everyone is getting killed, ultimately. How much ever intelligent a person is, powerful one is, scholar one is, everyone is getting killed. That is defeat. Everyone is getting punished physically, mentally. So this defeat will continue as long as Yavana jigyasata atma tattvam, one does not inquire about the self. When one inquires about the self, one becomes victorious. So if we have to become victorious in the struggle for life, we have to become happy, then we have to inquire about self-realization. But unfortunately, the leaders themselves have no awareness of this inquiry. And thus they think entire life is meant for sense gratification, and they don't leave their posts and positions. But because Yudhishthir Maharaj was a responsible king, he understood the most important duty is self-realization. And the kings would present examples for the whole state. Now why the whole country in India, they speak and they feel a privilege to have English medium education? Because the kings would have English medium education in the British era. And the common people, they take kings as the ideals. So if the king is going to London and having English education, then if my child also can have English education, that is very nice. There is the understanding. Thus the kings would present by example. Pancha Shodham Vanam Vrajet. After 50 years, they would retire. They were very much cautious and they were very eager for self-realization. Thus Yudhishthir Maharaj, he is not thinking that now there is no anxiety in my kingdom, why should I leave? No. He understands that I am only an instrument. If trouble has to happen, it will happen. And that is why the greatest spiritual master, Narad Muni, he was educating a king, Prachin Barhishat. And he instructed him in values of spiritual life. And because he was also a saintly king, pious king, although he was little attached to the material world, but by instructions of Narad Muni, his knowledge gets revived. And he agrees, yes, I totally agree, sir, whatever you are telling. I will also leave my kingdom and I will dedicate my life for self-realization. My sons have gone for doing austerity, and once they come back, they become the kings, then I would retire. Because somebody has to be there to manage the state. So Narad Muni told, no, you have to leave immediately. Self-realization is urgent. One cannot wait for self-realization. So what to speak of ordinary responsibility? Many people talk of responsibility, that the people around me would suffer, the nation would suffer, and he was most powerful king, emperor. He was ruling over many, many kings. But in his case also, Narad Muni told, you retire immediately. Because ultimately, whatever is going to happen, it is happening under control of material nature. We are only acting as instruments. Thus, the king also leaves immediately, without bothering who would be the next king. And of course, the kingdom went into dilapidation, there was mismanagement, and his sons, when they came out, they saw the whole world mismanaged. But the king, Narad Muni, the greatest spiritual master, did not worry about it. Nobody is more knowledgeable than Narad Muni. So that is why self-realization is an urgent subject matter. Management, mismanagement, everything is happening under control of material nature. Unfortunately, people do not have faith in God nor in the arrangement of God. But Yudhishthir Maharaj was not like them, and thus Yudhishthir Maharaj, he decided to retire. And thus we see, very soon as Parikshit Maharaj is grown up, they are not worried. They leave and Parikshit Maharaj is installed on the throne. Next verse. Brahmana uchuhu partha prajavita sakshad ikshvakur iva manavaha brahmanya satya sandhascha ramo dasharathair. The learned Brahmana said, O son of Pritha, this child shall be exactly liking Ikshvaku, the son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahmanical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Ram, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaj Dashrath. Purport. Praja means the living being who has taken his birth in the material world. Actually, the living being has no birth and no death. But because of his separation from the service of the Lord and due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is offered a suitable body to satisfy his material desires. In doing so, one becomes conditioned by the laws of material nature, and the material body is changed in terms of his own work. The living entity thus transmigrates from one body to another in 8,400,000 species of life. But due to his being the part and parcel of the Lord, he is not only maintained with all necessaries of life by the Lord, but also is protected by the Lord and his representatives, the saintly kings. These saintly kings give protection to all the prajas or living beings to live and to fulfill their terms of imprisonment. Maharaj Parikshit was actually an ideal saintly king because while touring his kingdom, he happened to see that a poor cow was about to be killed by the personified Kali, and he at once took him to task as a murderer. This means that even the animals were given protection by the saintly administrators, not from any sentimental point of view, but because those who have taken their birth in the world have the right to live. All the saintly kings, beginning from the king of the sun globe down to the king of the earth, are so inclined by the influence of the Vedic literatures. Thus, we can see here the king is responsible not just for the welfare of human beings, but even the animals, even the plants, and everyone. Because everyone is a living entity, we are simply captured in different bodies. And unfortunately, the leaders are maintaining slaughterhouses, and the government is officially allowing killing of animals, and this is the most sinful activity. Thus we can see how greatly ignorant people are. We are having big planning commissions. We are trying to procure various technology, defense mechanisms, but nobody will be able to have any defense from the laws of nature, because we are killing other living entities, we will be killed. Nobody can be saved. So it is horrible. Big machines, factories are set up just to slaughter our brothers who are in different dress. This is extremely sinful. Parikshit Maharaj, who was the most learned king, as soon as he saw that a Shudra, low-class man, was beating a cow, he immediately came down from his chariot and was about to kill that person. A person who beats animals is supposed to be killed. What to speak of one who is killing animal? What to speak of one who is killing in factories? So thus, if the leader is so very much sinful, how we can expect that the common masses can be enlightened in knowledge? The Vedic literatures are taught in higher planets also, as there is reference in the Bhagavad Gita about the teachings to the sun god by the Lord, and such lessons are transferred by displic succession, as it was done by sun god to his son Manu, and from Manu to Maharaj Ikshvaku. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and the Manu referred to herein is the seventh Manu, who is one of the Prajapatis, those who create progeny, and he is the son of the sun god. He is known as Vaivasvat Manu. He had 10 sons. Maharaj Ikshvaku is one of them. Maharaj Ikshvaku also learned Bhakti Yoga as taught in the Bhagavad Gita from his father Manu, who got it from his father, the sun god. Later on, the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita came down by disciplic succession from Maharaj Ikshvaku. But in course of time, the chain was broken by unscrupulous persons, and therefore it again had to be taught to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So all the Vedic literatures are current from the very beginning of the creation of the material world. And thus the Vedic literatures are known as Aparushaya, not made by man. The Vedic knowledge was spoken by the Lord and first heard by Brahma, the first created living being within the universe. So the description is given about Maharaj Ikshvaku. His name is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Ikshvaku is son of Manu. Manur Ikshvakave Abravit, it is told in Bhagavad Gita. Ikshvaku Maharaj was also Raj Rishi, the saintly king, who got this perfect knowledge of Bhakti Yoga. He was a pure devotee again. He came in Parampara. Sun God was given knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, Bhagavad Gita, by Krishna himself. And then Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. So many times it is told that the Kshatriyas are entitled to eat meat. But here it is told, Maharaj Ikshvaku, who was one of the sons of Vaivasvat Manu, he had 100 sons, he prohibited meat eating. And his son Shashad became the next king after his death. So it is wrong that Kshatriyas must eat meat or they are allowed to eat meat. No. Yes, they are allowed to eat meat in certain circumstances. Because as a warrior, who knows, you can get caught in a war in a jungle for survival, you might have to eat. So in some circumstances, the Kshatriyas are allowed. Thus Srila Prabhupada explains, Pandavas also never ate meat. The most valiant warriors who were able to defeat everyone on the planet, they never ate meat. Bhima ate in some special circumstances. Otherwise, other Pandavas never ate meat. Here Maharaj Ikshvaku, he prohibited meat eating. In Mahabharata, there is discussion about elevation to heavenly planet, which is the bare minimum expectation from every human being. If one cannot get perfectly liberated from the process of birth and death, at least one should be able to elevate oneself in Sattva Guna and go to higher planets, heavenly planets. So the description is given there. Maharaj Yudhishthir explains, in order to go to heavenly planet, one should not consume meat. So thus it was very widely known to the kings also that meat eating is sinful. And Maharaj Ikshvaku, he prohibited meat eating. The description is given about Manu, another great king. He is father of Ikshvaku Manu and he is the seventh Manu, of the name Vaivasvat Manu, the son of sun god Vaivasvan, to whom Lord Krishna instructed the teachings of Bhagavad Gita prior to his teaching them to Arjuna. Mankind is the descendant of Manu. This Vaivasvat Manu had 10 sons named Ikshvaku, Nabhag, Dhrishta, Sharyati, Naryashyanta, Nabhag, Dishta, Karusha, Prishadra, and Vasuman. The Lord's incarnation, Matsya, gigantic fish, was invented during the beginning of Vaivasvat Manu's reign. He learned the principles of Bhagavad Gita from his father Vivaswan, the sun god, and he re-instructed the same to his son Maharaj Ikshvaku. In the beginning of the Treta Yuga, the sun god instructed devotional service to Manu, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku for the welfare of the whole human society. Then Lord Ramchandra, we all know, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, incarnated himself as Sri Ram, accepting the sonhood of his pure devotee Maharaj Dashrath, the king of Ayodhya. Lord Ram descended along with his plenary portions, and all of them appeared as his younger brothers. In the month of Chaitra, on the 9th day of the growing moon in the Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared as usual to establish the principles of religion and to annihilate the disturbing elements. When he was just a young boy, he helped the great sage Vishwamitra by killing Subahu and striking Marich, the she-demon who was disturbing the sages in their daily discharge of duties. So Marich is different, she-demon is different. The Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are meant to cooperate for the welfare of the mass of people. The Brahmana sages endeavor to enlighten the people by perfect knowledge, and the Kshatriyas are meant for their protection. Lord Ramchandra is the ideal king for maintaining and protecting the highest culture of humanity known as Brahmanya Dharma. The Lord is specifically the protector of the cows and the Brahmanas, and hence he enhances the prosperity of the world. He rewarded the administrative demigods by effective weapons to conquer the demons through the agency of Vishwamitra. He was present in the bow sacrifice of King Janak, and by breaking the invisible bow of Shiva, he married Sita Devi, daughter of Maharaj Janak. After his marriage, he accepted exile in the forest 14 years by the order of his father, Maharaj Dashrath. To help the administration of the demigods, he killed 14,000 demons. And by the intrigues of the demons, his wife Sita Devi was kidnapped by Ravan. He made friendship with Sugriv, who was held by the Lord to kill Vali, brother of Sugriv. By the help of Lord Ram, Sugriv became the king of the Vanaras, a race of gorillas. He built a floating bridge of stones on the Indian Ocean and reached Lanka, the kingdom of Ravan, who kidnapped Sita. Later on, Ravan was killed by him, and Ravana's brother Vibhishan was installed on the throne of Lanka. Vibhishan was one of the brothers of Ravan, a demon, but Lord Ram made him immortal by his blessings. On the expiry of 14 years, after settling the affairs at Lanka, he came back to his kingdom Ayodhya by a flower plain. He instructed his brother Shatrughna to attack Lavanasur, who reigned at Mathura, and the demon was killed. He performed 10 Ashwamedh sacrifices, and later on he disappeared while taking a bath in the Sharayu river. The great epic Ramayana is the history of Lord Ram's activities in the world, and the authoritative Ramayana is written by the great poet Valmiki. So these are the descriptions of various powerful kings who were all saintly Rajrishi, and Yudhishthira Maharaj was inquisitive whether Parikshit Maharaj would follow the suit, and the Brahmanas asserted, yes, he will be as great as all the kings listed here. We will end here unless there are any questions. Do we have any question online?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. One question is that we see in the current scenario in all the democratic governments, the leaders themselves are blind.
Correct.
So they are unable to lead the common man.
Correct.
So if we think that one of the ways to understand is that we need Krishna conscious leaders.
Correct.
But on the other hand, Prabhupada writes that devotee should be desireless. He should only think to serve Krishna.
Correct.
So how could we actually try to dovetail it 100%?
So desireless means one should not have desire for sense gratification. So here the kings who were ruling, they were not ruling for sense gratification. They were ruling as a matter of service to Krishna. Thus Arjuna was desireless as far as enjoying kingdom was concerned. But when he understood it is Krishna's service to rule over so that we can enact Krishna's laws in this world, then he agreed to rule on behalf of Krishna. So that is why there is no harm in accepting the post of a politician, an administrator, if one is ruling only for the service of Krishna, so that common people can be guided to follow the laws given by Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanurpranam. So for the Krishna conscious leader, is it necessary for them to understand the whole political philosophy, or just by the proper knowledge of Krishna consciousness is enough? Like at the end, this philosophy actually will help people. But on other hand, like material philosophies, is it necessary for them to understand?
Obviously, yes. One who has knowledge of Krishna consciousness, he will understand whatever is required for Krishna's service. But definitely, if one is a doctor, one needs to know medicine. Similarly, if one is going to enter into politics, one needs to have knowledge of politics.
But the politics have to like associate with so many other leaders. So
Pardon?
politics, the politician has to associate with so many leaders. They
Yes,
have to
yes.
roam and world. So how like in those how they can manage themselves, like practicing sadhana and or all other
Yes, so
things.
if they are strong, they will influence others and not get influenced. Just like devotees also, they interact entire day with non-devotees. Why? So that we can make them devotees. So in this way, if one is strongly Krishna conscious, then he will be able to induce others also.
Like in managing their own sadhana and all other things.
Yes.
They-
Just like Amrish Maharaj, he was ruling the whole planet. But what was his life? Savaimana Krishna Padaravindayor. He was always thinking about lotus feet of Supreme Lord. His eyes were beholding the beautiful form of the deities. His legs were used in visiting the places of pilgrimage and temple. His hands were used in cleansing the temple. So in this way, he was completely engaged in Krishna's service as well as he was ruling as a king. So one has to be very strong in spiritual practices and rule at the same time.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
You
Krishna.
mentioned that people simply do not have faith in the Lord for maintenance. Does that mean that one should give up material endeavor when they are ready to do so?
So endeavoring and having faith, these are two different things. For example, I have faith in the government. Does it mean that I will stop working for my exam? No. We have faith in the government means we have faith in the system established by the government. Government is impartial, government conducts exam without any partiality. Anybody who is eligible, he will be allowed to hold the post. So that is why, what is the relevance between faith? So people don't understand. Faith means I will sit down and God will do all activities for me. This is foolishness. Having faith means having faith in the laws of God. If I follow laws of God, then that is a way of attaining perfection of life. Having faith in God does not mean laziness. God will do everything for me. Thus Prabhupada explains, Krishna did not tell Arjuna, Arjuna, you sleep on the chariot, I will fight for you. Having faith means I simply have to follow the orders of the God. Now, if something good comes out of it, that is good for me. If something bad comes out of it, that is also good for me. Because I am following God, I have faith in God, in profit or in loss.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु 14 मनु एक ब्रह्मा के दिन में होते हैं प्रभु जी इसके बारे में थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए
14 मनु ब्रह्मा के एक दिन में होते हैं. So, in one day of Brahma, there are 1000 yugas. And for proper administration, Manus are appointed in this one day of Brahma. So, each Manu, he rules for 71 or 72 yugas. And thus, in this way, 72 into 14, that is equal to 1000. There are 14 Manus, administrators in one day of Brahma.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. How organization can run with Krishna consciousness?
So it is a very broad question. Just like Maharaj Yudhishthir ran the government, Maharaj Parikshit ran the government. In a similar way, it can be run with Krishna consciousness. Means we should simply, everyone is supposed to engage in service of Lord. Just like now we are engaged in sense gratification, the government will educate, government will immediately ban meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. And everyone should follow some religion. They can be free. As per their understanding of God, they can pick up whatever religion they want. But everyone must follow religion. This is very, very important. This is the duty of the king. In this way, in Krishna consciousness, one should run the government for the satisfaction of Krishna and not for sense gratification. We'll finish. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Subscribe to our channel, and to get the latest updates, do not forget to press the bell icon. Hare Krishna.